Good morning everyone and welcome to this week's assembly. A little shorter this week because I know that there's a lot of time being spent on revision and preparation for end of year assessments. Year 11, 12 and 13, in fact this is the last day of their internal assessments, which will be used to award their IGCSE, AS and A-level grades this year. But for year 10 and for Key Stage 3, obviously your assessments are next week. And I know that the house competition this week has been all about the best piece of revision that you have managed to do in preparation for your assessments, whether you're studying for your IGCSEs or whether you're taking A-levels or whether you are just doing end of year assessments in Key Stage 3. So I look forward to seeing what has been voted as the best pieces of revision. We also have an assembly from 7V today, and they've been looking at life at IBSB. So talking a little bit about what we do at school, talking a little bit about how their feelings are at the end of their first year in secondary school. So again, looking forward to seeing what they've put together there. We've also got some stuff from 8E as we do every week, so we have the news round, but also this week we've also got a week in history too. So all of the different events that have taken place over the last hundreds of thousands of years really of recorded human history, so seeing what's been taking place this week. So after all of that, we'll then have a look at the house points. I'll be talking a little bit about how the assessments for next week will work and what you should be doing, and maybe giving you a little bit of advice about preparing for revision. And then we will have a look at birthdays and of course the praise point certificates. I'm now going to hand over to 7V for their assembly. Well done to 7V. So, as we mentioned, we're now going to have a look at some news from around the world, courtesy of 8E. Before then, moving into the 8E's history that has occurred this week. So, over to you guys. So well done to Mark, Sophia, Dinu and Sandra for their efforts there with both the news round and for This Week in History. Now, as I mentioned, I'm going to talk a little bit about revision here, but it's not so much me who's going to be talking about the revision, but I'm going to replay a little video that was put together by some Year 10s for psychology earlier on in the year about what are the best approaches in order to revise, and I thought this might be useful for you. But the important thing is to remember that next week, obviously, your assessments are taking place on the Wednesday, Thursday and Friday of that week, and then leading on into the week after. Now, you've all been sent the revision timetable, and it should have been posted onto, or sorry, not the revision timetable, the exam timetable, and it should have been posted on your form group Google Classroom. So make sure that you're aware of what assessments are taking place on what day. For Year 10, you obviously need to make sure that your parents have returned the form saying that you're allowed to leave after you've taken an exam. Otherwise, basically, you stay in school. It's as simple as that. But the important thing is to make sure that you use the long weekend wisely, do a bit of preparation, do some revision, but don't do too hand over to the Year 10 psychologists who are going to explain to us about how you can revise.
Methods to help students with memorization by Alexandra, Alexia, Vlad, and Alexandros from Year 10 Psychology. First off, we have flashcards. Flashcards are very commonly used, and for good reason too. They are simple, two-sided cards with information on both sides, a question and the answer to it. The reason they work so well is because they engage active recall. You can pause and read more about that on screen. They're also very cheap and easy to make and personalize. Colorful flashcards? You got it. Plain ones? Also got that. Digital ones, if that's more your cup of tea? Sure, go for it. The reason they're so flexible isn't because they're usually made out of paper, is because they're very easy to customize to one's personal taste. Therefore, you can add the specific material that you need to revise while also making them look appealing to you. There have also been studies on how this method of learning is 150% more effective than regular studying. But studies are lengthy and boring, so I won't go into too much detail about that, but if you wish to yourself, you can check these links out. Moving on to helpful environment. The environment in which you learn in can play a very big role in student success. Believe it or not, your learning abilities can be heavily influenced by noise, light, smell, sound, seating, and even color. Therefore, it would be beneficial to work in a good environment. Places that are comfortable, quiet, positive, or whatever your personal taste may be. This could also improve learning speed, motivation, and engagement with the topic. However, if you work somewhere uncomfortable, such as loud or places full of distractions, it can be much harder to absorb the information. Next up, senses. Our senses can help us remember much better, which can also be used for studying. For example, if you're chewing a certain flavor of gum while studying, and then before the exam you choose to chew the same flavor of gum, it would be easier to remember the studied information through association with the actual sense. They can also help in other ways, such as listening to music, lighting a scented candle, or even having a small snack. And these are just examples using 3 of all the 5 senses. Therefore, living possibilities for many other ways to use them in order to improve learning. Moving on to past papers. Now, these may not come off as appealing, and I get why. However, they are still very useful. Not only because practice would help you learn the subject, but it's because they have a very similar format to the future ones. Therefore, learning how to approach past papers can make you familiar with what to do and make you more relaxed, giving you more confidence in your performance. This will lower stress levels, which have proven to damage one's ability to recall certain information. So, as much as they seem like a drag or just another paper you have to do, they are actually much more useful than regular studying. Moving on to the quantity of work that's being studied. Overlearning is not good for students, as they have a limited time for studying. Therefore, trying to cram all the information all at once could lead to them having forgotten the things that they had tried to learn previously. It can also lead to tiredness or exhaustion, which yet again does not help your memory. Students who have to go over large quantities of work at once would also tend to rush. This would damage the information even more, which is why students who try to cram all the information right before the test usually don't get full marks. Speaking from personal experience. And last but not least, being relaxed and not rushing. This is very important since, as we've established before, being relaxed and having a clear mind will help you revise and therefore memorize. This is why you shouldn't try to rush to finish your revision in 1 or 2 days. You should try splitting the work into small manageable chunks, which you can revise over the course of multiple days, usually from 30 minutes or up to an hour. Also, playing video games or sports can actually help as you're taking breaks from said revision lessons. However, playing too much, like I've done, while forgetting about your revision isn't great either. Obviously, there are more revision or memorization methods that have not been touched upon, and if you're interested, you can check any of these sources out. Thank you for listening.
Thank you to those words of wisdom from our Year 10 psychologists. Hopefully you were listening and you'll have some idea about the best approaches to take when revising for your end-of-year assessments, which will be coming up very, very soon. Now, continuing with the revision theme, the house competition last week, and it will continue into the next week, is about presenting and sharing the piece of revision that you have done which you're most proud of. So, in third place, we have this quote board from Angie in Year 11, looking at Romeo and Juliet, and I know that has obviously helped her an awful lot with her English literature preparation for her IGCSE. In second place, we have this biology mind map, which has been produced by Anushka, and again has got a lot of content on there, and I'm sure will have really helped her in her preparations for her science assessment coming up. And in first place, we have this work here on urbanisation by Sandra for geography. It's a lot more than you can see on this diagram here. It was a couple of pages as an infographic, and it was a really, really good piece of work. So well done to you, Sandra. Now, this competition will continue on for another week, and really, this is the last house competition that we're going to have. So, very, very soon we'll be announcing who are the winners of the house competition for 2020-2021. So let's have a look at the... Now what we can see here is that it's getting a bit tighter at the top between Muntenia and Transylvania. There's about a 400-point gap, but there's still everything to play for. Dobruja, who are still lagging behind significantly. So you never know. If you get some stuff in quickly, Muntenians, you may win your house point competition for this academic year. Looking at praise points now for this week, and we've got a few certificates to hand out. So well done to Theo in AD for his first tutor certificate, his 50 praise points certificate, so well done to you. Same for Vlad in Year 10, Vlad Sebe, one of the many Vlads in Year 10. And well done to Lucas for achieving the 100 praise point certificate, the second tutor certificate. So well done to all 3 students there. Birthdays, because it's a long weekend, and next week actually we will not be having an assembly because obviously it's during your exam week. So I believe on Friday during lesson 2 you will actually be doing an assessment. So lots of birthdays to cover. So happy birthday to Arman for yesterday. I hope you got to celebrate it. Nikita, your birthday coming up on Saturday, so happy birthday to you. Hyunsu on Sunday, so again, happy birthday to you. And then moving into next week, we have Huapei in Year 10 on the 2nd of June. Vasiliki on the 3rd of June, so Vasiliki in Year 7. And last but not least, we have Alex in Year 10, whose birthday is also on the 3rd of June. So happy birthday to you all. I hope you have a wonderful day and you get to celebrate it. And now the restrictions are a little bit less, maybe you'll get to spend some time with friends and family on that day as well. So it leaves me without saying to have a wonderful weekend. And I know it says see you all on Monday there, but actually it's going to be Wednesday, isn't it? So happy Children's Day, happy extended weekend, and have a wonderful time, and we will see you all safe and sound on Wednesday.